Hey, welcome back, everybody. It's time once again to meet our community, the Hispanic business community here in Orange County, powered by the Orange County Hispanic Chamber of Commerce and Orange County's only community radio station. And today we're going to do a lot of singing, right, John?
That's right. Can you hear me here?
We
All
can
right.
hear you.
We are back at our community podcast show powered by the Orange County Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. I'm your host, John Gutierrez, Senior Vice President here. And I got to tell you, I'm a little nervous. I've never been this nervous. We have a Grammy Award-winning Pacific Chorale director, conductor, Mr. Robert Istad, who, of course, is an artistic director and conductor at Pacific Chorale, esteemed educator, professor of music, and director of chorale studies at Cal State Fullerton, one of our partners, by the way.
Go Titans.
Go Titans, that's right. And on September 14th and 15th, To the Hands, which is an event in support of refugees and the unhoused, he will be putting together an amazing show, right?
Yeah. Well, we hope so. Yeah.
Yes. Well, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks, John. Thanks for having me.
We're excited to have you. We're going to go into all this good stuff and, of course, the show and everything you guys are doing. But first and foremost, for our listeners and our viewers, we always like to get to know you as a person. Okay. If you don't mind sharing with us a little bit about yourself, maybe where you grew up and how you ended up, to this point to being, Grammy Award-winning Pacific Chorale is no joke. This is big.
Yeah. It's for me as a human being, it's like a surprise. I grew up in a small town in Illinois, Rockford, Illinois, and fell in love with music at a young age. And I was a pianist and a percussionist. I played drum set and timpani. And
how'd you get into the piano? Because my son recently started just playing, of course, nowadays apps.
Right.
They learn everything online, right? And he started playing the Dr. Dre song and all these other songs he learned, like the Godfather song. Exactly. I'm like, where did you learn this? He's like, online, Dad.
See, I didn't have that. It was very analog. It was at church. I'd walk over and after the service, start playing the piano. And my parents were like, do you really enjoy that? I said, I want to learn how to do that. I was like 5. Something.
Just walked over and started.
My dad took an extra job and they bought a cheap old piano, and I went down the street to the neighborhood teacher, and I just loved to practice. Like, I love to play outside with my friends, but I also love to practice the piano, and that's how it all happened. That's how it started.
Wow. And then from there, at what point did you just get more into music?
I always loved it. And I was a really busy kid, loved doing lots of things. I grew up not with a lot of money at all, but rich in love, right?
Yes, of course.
And I went to college as a pre-med major with, I auditioned for any scholarship I could possibly get.
Wow.
So I had like a piano scholarship. I had like a percussion scholarship. I had a theater scholarship. I didn't know what I was doing, but I was like, I'll do it. I'll be in a show, whatever you want. I did whatever they would say. And I went to college and I got there and they said, well, now you're going to sing in the choir. And I was like, no.
Did that scare you?
Yeah. I was like, no, I'll play in the orchestra. And they said, no, sir, like those positions are taken. You got to be in the choir. And I really complained about it all the way up. And finally, the bigwig at the college said, young man, you're going to go sing in that choir. And so I went there, and I'll tell you, on the first day, I heard sounds I had never heard in my life.
Really?
Yeah, it was extraordinary.
Wow.
And I had to stop. I had to stop singing. I started crying, and I thought, what is this? Like, I was so taken with the sound and the ringing in the room, the overtone, and the spirit of collegiality. It was like the guys on the track team, it was like everybody in that room was on the same team and loving each other. And it was just so much different than what I had experienced in the instrumental world. And I fell in love with it. And I made it through vertebrate zoology. And then I called my dad and I said, hey, I think I want to be a music major. And he's like, can you make money? I was like, well,
typical,
I don't know.
Typical fathers of ours, right?
Right.
How are you going to survive?
Can you make money? Yeah. And I did it. And I fell in love with conducting. I was really interested in that. And my teacher saw something in me at that college, and he sent me out here actually to Cal State Fullerton. Wow. And I came out here to do a master's degree in conducting.
That's what brought you out here?
Yeah.
To California?
Yeah. To study at Fullerton with my teacher, who was also my predecessor at Pacific Chorale and the university, right? He had my jobs before I did. John Alexander's his name.
Shout out to him.
Yeah, he's an amazing guy. He's still one of my best friends. I love that man. And then he sent me to USC, you know, on a really nice scholarship.
That little school, just
that little thing. To
U-
do a doctorate.
USC, you know.
Yeah. No, it was great. And I always assumed that I would move back to the Midwest and take over like a small college or university program or community choir. And
When you were at USC,
yeah.
is that when you? I mean, I'm sure when you were at Cal State Fullerton also, but is that when you really started envisioning that this would be a career for you?
Honestly, it was Fullerton.
Really? Okay.
I got the best education of my life at Cal State Fullerton.
Way to go, Cal State Fullerton.
Yeah, I'm not saying that because I work there now. It was the investment of the faculty, the friends that I made, the level of talent, and the intention I got there. It was just incredible. So, and then of course USC was wonderful. It was this huge, big, intimidating place.
It's a whole different
and,
world, right?
Yeah, but I loved that too. It was really great. And then the crazy people at Fullerton hired me back full time after I finished my doctorate. My teacher had retired. And then there was a national search for a director at Pacific Chorale, and I thought they were just being nice by considering me. I went through the whole audition process, and then when they called me to tell me they wanted me to have that job, I was speechless. And
Why were you
Here I
speechless?
am.
For those that don't know, share a little bit about Pacific Chorale. I have tons of information they gave me about Pacific
you
Chorale.
have too much
Yes,
information there, John.
they gave me a whole booklet. I had to like do my homework. My wife was like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm studying for my podcast, like a midterm, you know." She's like, "I've never seen you study that much for a podcast." I'm like, "This gentleman has a pretty big resume." Share with
Well-
those listening, you know.
You do just like you do whatever comes next in your life, right?
Yes,
And you just keep trusting God, and you keep moving forward and opening your heart to what comes next and what's in front of you in your life and how you can bless people. That's just how I've sort of thought about my life. Pacific Chorale is one of our nation's great choirs. So there's an upper echelon of what we call professional choral organizations in our country. Most of them associated with big orchestras like the Chicago Symphony Chorus, right?
okay.
Or the San Francisco Symphony Chorus, or these big things. Orange County is really unique because Pacific Chorale is its own organization, and they've built their own professional choral organization that, yes, is a symphony chorus. I have 240 some people on our roster that audition to get in. It's huge.
Wow.
We support a stable of professional singers as well as really, really talented volunteer singers. And we sing we sing more performances than just about any other choral organization in this country every year. We sing 5 to 6 with Pacific Symphony, 2 to 3 with the Los Angeles Philharmonic, plus our own series.
Wow.
That we have 5 to 6 performances every year of our own. And when I say like 5 to 6 shows with the symphony, that means it's like, you know, they put on 4 at a time. So,
Yeah.
20, and it's
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
And we have that many singers because not everybody can sing everything. So like casting all the concerts is a big deal for me. We also have a professional chamber choir, which is all professional singers. And that's the concert that we're kind of talking about today. It's 16 people that'll be putting on this really interesting staged performance at Segerstrom in September.
Paul had a quick question. I'm sorry.
So,
Yep.
John, I got to jump in.
Sure.
I told everybody off stage, I sang in chamber choir. I sang chamber
Paul wants everybody to
music.
know he sang
Chamber music.
at chamber choirs.
That's right, exactly.
Yes.
In high school.
That's a big
Yes.
deal.
That was a big deal. That was like the honors choir stuff. And chamber music, how many people know that music? John may not know about chamber music. This kind of is.
Well, I
it's this kind of
sang when I was a
Middle
little
Ages
boy
kind of stuff.
singing at. I went into catechism, right,
Yeah,
at my
yeah.
church,
Uh-huh.
and you have to learn all the songs of Mass,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
And so I was in that little group while I was doing my first communion, and I think me and my sister and my brothers, we all sang, and it's really cool because now as an adult, when I go to Mass, I know all the songs,
You
right?
do, right?
Yeah,
And all
so
the
it's-
great
imprinted.
composers
Yes.
of the classical period, the Beethoven's, Bach's, and all this type of, all wrote masses. They wrote music for the Catholic Church because they were the primary patron for a lot of this music at that time. So it's an introduction. If you can sing that kind of real old-fashioned mass stuff.
You guys
there.
were saying what is my voice? What did you-
Tenor. I think you're tenor.
I think
I'm
you're
a tenor.
And that's hard to get. That's rare.
Me. So let me ask you this: how do you put together your all-star team or your group that you have? That I mean, you said 240 people.
Yeah, it's big.
I'm assuming there's a lot more that wanna
Yeah.
be part of this group. Like I don't know, thousands or I don't know how many.
I'm looking to audition. I'm gonna get back in.
Paul wants to be on the all-star team. How do you? That's tough, right?
It is tough. I mean,
Right?
first of all, auditioning for anybody is a risk. Obviously, some people find it intimidating. We try to make it as comfortable and open as possible, friendly. We ask them to prepare a song, sing, just a soloist. We provide a pianist, but then I do ask them to demonstrate their music reading skills in front of me. So they have to read complicated rhythms, and then I'll give them one note, and then they have to sing a piece on their own without anybody. And I want to hear their intonation and how they.
So you
stay
have
in
that.
tune.
You have the ear, right, to be able to.
I don't know. I've worked on it pretty hard my whole life, so
Wow. So
and you just
it's-
hear them, and I do have my colleagues with me. So we have I have an artistic staff that also listens to everybody. So people audition for a panel of like 6 of us.
That's some pressure.
Yeah, and it is challenging. So being accepted and into Pacific Chorale is a huge honor and something I think that is a real source of pride amongst our members. But also they cherish it as part of their community. It's not just a choir. It's a
And can
family.
community members, I mean, I haven't sung in a choir in 40 years or something here, but I used to sing in church choirs and stuff. I'm probably not in voice to do
In the
that anymore.
auditions, you mean can anybody?
Can anybody listening, if they really have a
Yes.
passion for music, sung in choirs or something before they want to come try this?
Yeah, go
next level?
on our website. You can sign up for an audition because the spirit of Pacific Chorale as a professional organization, yes, we do support the careers of many professional singers, but also of really skilled volunteer singers. And our volunteer singers are the heartbeat of our organization. They are the passionate volunteers that sing in almost every concert. They help us do fundraising. They are really the engine behind everything that we do.
Well, I just want to make a quick announcement for, on behalf of the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. I just want to say, for all the listeners and viewers out there, what great piece of information we're sharing here as a resource. If you have any children, anybody that you feel has a great voice, sometimes we don't know where to go, right?
Correct.
And say, try this and make, I don't know, a career out of it, right? Or a life out of it. This is, I mean, what an amazing story.
Or just a passion out
or
of it.
passion,
Yeah,
exactly.
I was very passionate about choirs and singing. It is a different
Yes.
experience. When you sing with a whole group, it takes on a collective sound. It echoes around the room. You're part of this huge voice that rises up from the stage. It's an amazing experience, like playing in an orchestra.
Paul really wants to go back to singing.
I don't know.
This
I
is
think
really
he's
inspiring
his
me.
name is going to be on my audition
He's
list in
working his
January.
resume.
I'm telling you.
Paul's working the
I'm
resume.
going to go get back in place for me.
Paul, we need to put you through the Cal State Fullerton program
Yeah,
first.
yeah.
you
I
know?
think so. I think so.
We do have something every summer. It just happened this last weekend where we invite any member of the community that wants to come and sing with us at Segerstrom. They spend a whole weekend with me and
Oh,
my
no,
singer.
Don't
That
tell
would
him.
be-
Don't tell
that
Paul
would be
this.
cool.
Don't tell
No.
Paul this.
It's a singing vacation. It's just one weekend. You come Friday night, most of the day Saturday, and then we put on a show on Sunday.
Sort of like band camp in the
Yeah.
old days.
Band camp.
And you sing, you meet all these people. We had
That is so cool.
we had
Oh, I
almost
might try
300
that.
people on stage on Sunday singing this huge. We
Not
sang
only
a
that,
big mass. Yeah, it was really
but not
cool.
only that, but the feeling of being up there on the big stage.
Yeah.
Right?
It's wild.
With the big organ and everything.
Yes,
really.
yes. I was
yeah.
just at the D23 Disney.
Oh yeah.
I was just there. They invited us. They're one of our partners. And my wife and I, we had never been to one of these events.
It's crazy.
And they had this amazing orchestra, right?
It was Pacific Symphony.
Is that what it is?
It was Pacific Symphony.
No way.
They played,
I didn't know
yeah.
because first time I ever went to this event.
Yeah.
And I'm like, me and my wife were like, what is this? First of all, it's the fanatics of Disney, right?
Right.
And the sound, and I kept telling my wife, wow,
Uh-huh.
it sounds so beautiful, and the sounds, and they were doing songs of all the Disney movies, right? It was just amazing. I didn't know that's who it was.
That's who it was. But
wow.
if you really want to hear Pacific Symphony, because that was all amplified, if you
Oh.
come to that concert hall at Segerstrom Center and you hear them without amplification and the music wraps itself around you and you hear you feel your body vibrating, it is an otherworldly experience. It is incredible.
Now, share with everybody, when I was there recently, the way it's built
Yeah.
matters, right? Like
Yeah.
the way the wood, or what
It
is
is
it?
tuned.
Right,
They
the way it's-
tuned
yes.
the room.
Yeah,
it
right.
actually is tuned to so
Exactly.
that you could hear a
Paul,
pin
Paul,
drop.
let him share. Paul,
I'm telling you, John.
Paul
My
gets
friend-
excited over here.
But my friend Eileen is the tone meister.
Oh,
and so
shout out to her.
She's amazing. She's the vice president of artistic operations and programming at Pacific Symphony. And Eileen, her name's Eileen Jeanette. She's amazing because I'll call her up and say, hey, Eileen, we're presenting this particular piece of music with a
Wow.
big orchestra. And she say, okay. And all those little doors and everything, they move by millimeters. She arranges
Yes.
all the millimeters. She drops whatever curtains needs to drop, lift up the canopies.
Yes.
And she perfectly tunes the hall for whatever piece of music you're going to be performing. She's amazing. And that hall is incredible. It's one of the best halls in the whole world. And we have it right here, right by South Coast Plaza.
Hard to believe. For those of you that don't know, it's right across the street from South Coast Plaza. And It's been there for many, many years.
Yeah,
I mean, since
yeah.
I was a kid that I remember. I mean, and let's go into this event that you guys are putting together. Can you share what it entails? Give us a quick little summary. And we'll go into depths of it, but just so everybody can understand how important it is that we come out and support, because it's also supporting a good cause, right?
Definitely. So the unhoused community has been on my heart for many, many years, and it's something I feel like that we can all get behind. Solving this problem of homelessness
Yeah.
it's going to take all of us to do something,
I agree.
right? Not everything,
Yeah.
but something. And my friend Caroline Shaw wrote this amazing piece of music. She was inspired by this really old piece of music based on the hands of Christ. And she heard this piece of music and she said, I believe that if Christ were walking this planet today, he would be lifting up the homeless, the displaced, the refugees. That's what he would be doing.
It's powerful.
And so she wrote this piece as a response to this very old German piece of music. And in it, she wrote her own poetic, her own poetic treatment of like the Emma Lazarus poem that's on the Statue of Liberty. She uses different kinds of singing, grunting, panting. I mean, it's really a visceral piece of music. And I heard this piece of music and I thought, this is something that's totally extraordinary. And it spoke to me really deeply. And I thought, what would help the audience engage with it more is if we staged it. So I invited my friend Marty Austin Lamar, who's a colleague of mine at Cal State Fullerton.
Shout out to Marty.
Yeah, he's amazing. And he's staging it. We just started our music rehearsals. But what I did is I took Caroline's piece and I kind of broke it up. I like to work in collage style. And so like I put some pop music in there, like the old Simply Red tune, Holding On to the
cool.
Years, and
Wow.
Sarah McLachlan tune, Fear, some American folk hymns like Angel Band, there's like a Gregorian chant, and there's some, that old American tune, Wayfaring Stranger, kind of works its way in there. The idea is that it inspires us to believe that we can do something to help these folks, even if it's donating. Like we're running a month-long food drive with the OC Food Bank.
Okay.
We're really excited about. It just started last weekend. We've already amassed 400 pounds of food just with our
Where
choral
do
festival.
people come bring
Segerstrom
donations?
Center for the Arts.
Really? They just
And-
go there?
Yep, and Segerstrom is pairing with us on this at select events and all of our events. So there are food containers everywhere, and we're just inviting people when you come to an event at Segerstrom, bring something from your home. If every person that attended an event at Segerstrom Center just brought 2 cans, the food bank would be blessed for months with food. I mean,
Wow.
and so Segerstrom is really involved in this. They've partnered with us to sponsor this project. The National Endowment for the Arts is involved with this. The city of Costa Mesa.
Oh,
So
wow.
we're like, I'm really excited and hopeful that we can start a conversation in Orange County about helping people,
Yeah.
especially in this crazy time that we're living in.
Yeah.
Nothing feels better than using your own personal resources to bless somebody else.
And again, that is, of course, Saturday, September 14th, 8 p.m., and then Sunday, September 15th, at 5 p.m.
Yep.
So you'll have 2 different shows.
Yeah, and you're used to choir music that's like a choir standing there holding folders. This is not that at all. The choir is completely memorized. There's 16 professional singers. We have dancers, projections. There's a string quintet, piano, drums. I mean, it's a whole collage style experience. It's not like a concert. It's like a show experience.
I've seen people stand up and dance at these, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it's very fun and
Yeah. This one is going to be maybe more introspective, I think, and like heartfelt. I think it's going to be really inspiring.
that is amazing. And for those listening that have never been to a show like this, what do you suggest to them? What do you recommend as far as like just being open-minded and just come enjoy yourself, right?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I would say come as you are. It's in a smaller theater, so it feels a little more intimate. It's not in the big concert hall.
Okay.
It's in Samueli Theater, which we wanted it to be. We wanted this to be more intimate. Come, have your heart open, and be ready to feel inspired to do something, but also to hear world-class singing. I mean, we were just rehearsing last night, and one of my colleagues burst into tears. The sound was so beautiful. I mean, these professional singers, they spend their whole lives nurturing their voices and their instruments and their musicianship, and hearing them perform this music is for me incredibly overwhelming. It's fantastic.
And I'll throw in that the Samueli is that little venue next door. I don't think it gets used enough. I've seen some jazz concerts here. I'm a big
Yeah.
jazz buff, and it feels not like a nightclub, but something bigger. It's more like a nightclub and less like a, dare I say, stuffy kind of symphony hall.
Definitely. And it's perfect for this concert because we really wanted people to be immersed in it. We're also doing a full audio visual capture of this, both performances, in hopes of putting together a broadcast piece of the concert. So
Yeah, and for those listening, I just want to share, you can go to www.pacificchorale.org. And tickets range from $38 to
Yep.
about $108.
Yep.
But then again, you're also supporting a good cause. Keep that in mind. It is a fundraiser, and so can they also bring like donations of cans that day? and
Oh
stuff
yeah, for sure.
On that day, okay.
We're-
We just want to
we're-
make sure.
We're asking people, please, if
Okay.
you're coming to this concert, please bring some food.
And did the proceeds go towards some cause or a portion of it or something?
Well, the proceeds of it, we're
Will pay
hoping
for it.
we're hoping that what will happen with this is that we're going to be able to make some donations and also raise tons of awareness. That's part of it.
Yeah, because unfortunately, we're just seeing more and more of it.
Yeah.
I know that a while back we tried to do a fundraiser with the church, and Starbucks is one of our partners at the chamber, and they wanted to do this fundraiser for the homeless community, and so we started organizing this event as far as like bringing food and providing them haircuts and things like that. And we wanted to spread the word to bring people in that community, in the homeless community, to come to this. And then right away, like, the city shut us down.
Yeah.
They're like, we don't want the shift of homeless people coming from another city to come here because of your event, right? And then they stay here or whatever. It was very interesting, the whole thought process behind it, right? So then that's when we realized, okay, we need to be boots in the ground and actually go out to the community and do like care packages. We did like care packages that had like toothpaste and a toothbrush and things to kind of like clean yourself with, and with it some blankets and clothes and things like that. So it's in a tough economy right now that we're in. We're seeing a lot more people, I think, during those hard times, right?
I think so too, and that's why we wanted to partner with major organizations like OC Food Bank. There's an organization in Fullerton area called Pathways of Hope that we're getting involved in this. That's same thing. Those people have the infrastructure to help in that really special way. I'm also charging all of my friends in Pacific Chorale. We're going to have a Pacific Chorale Day of Work where we're going to go and do just like what you were talking about.
Yes.
And at the holidays, maybe bringing some groups to sing for people, bring some cheer to folks. We're known for our big holiday programs, and wouldn't that be great to
That's
run
awesome.
out the choir to bring some
We'll have to
fun,
connect you with
some
South
toys.
County Outreach, who does a show
Yeah.
here with us. They're another big
okay.
partner in that whole effort.
That's
they're,
great.
They're part of your guys, I think, in the chamber here.
Yes.
Well, I have just one last question I got to ask.
Paul has another question. Go ahead,
Okay.
Paul.
Because the chorale, choir music, been around for centuries. It came out of church experiences. Everybody's seen choirs at churches, and then the kind of formal chorales, choirs that I sang in high school and college and stuff. How do you get today's kids to tune into this stuff? Or are they immediately turned
Paul's
off?
asking, how do we get kids interested? For those of you viewing
I mean, what
over
you're
here,
talking about is
how do we
very
get the kids
unique
into this?
piece of music.
Well, obviously you're competing against the video games in the whole world. Yes.
Yeah.
How do you?
Here's what they love to sing. Southern California has a huge and vibrant singing community in our schools.
Okay.
I mean, all over every school district, and especially with all of the money recently allocated by our state government to music education. I was just having a meeting with my colleague who runs all the music in Anaheim USD yesterday.
It's interesting. We were part of that whole when they did like a grand. They got like a big check at one of the Anaheim schools, elementary school or something. We were there that day.
That was
and
actually the NAM Foundation.
Yes,
NAM
NAM.
did that.
Remember, Paul?
Yeah.
Yes,
And
that's
they
the one.
invited us out, and we came out and
Yes.
covered that event.
We
yeah.
went and covered that. That's right. And you're right. A lot of money going towards back the music programs, which is needed.
It's needed because kids that are involved in music tend to stay in school. They tend to achieve in school. They have more healthy relationships with their families and their friends, and they have a better self-confidence in who they are as a human being. It's just amazing. And Pacific Chorale's many education programs also support that effort. But I'm just here to say that your kids are singing, whether you know it or not. They are singing, and they're singing on TikTok, right? They are singing at school.
That's true.
They're singing at church, and singing is cool and really fun again. And it's a great time to introduce your families to choral singing. And I would say this program is pretty heavy, but for small children, we have this crazy program at the holidays called 'Tis the Season, which is wild and fun, and that is really special. The symphony has their musical mornings for families. I mean, there's so many ways you can reinforce this positive environment of classical music with your children.
Well, I want to thank you for coming to our show. We really appreciate. I know you must be super busy, and when I was told that you were coming to the show and I was sent all the information, I said to my wife, I'm a little nervous. She's like, why are you nervous? You never get nervous when you're going to interview people. I'm like, this is like a Grammy Award winner right here, conductor. There's a lot of pressure, you know what I mean? But thank you for everything you're doing, because I think in today's world with our children, I mean, I'm a father too, and our children, and I see my son playing the piano, and my older son loves to play the guitar, and he sings Johnny Cash songs, and I see how much joy they get out of it. I see how much they enjoy it, And sometimes my older one will bring out the guitar when we're having like a little bonfire in the backyard, and he just starts playing the music. So I think it's important that we continue to support all of these programs at all levels, right?
Yeah.
But more importantly, bring your children, right? Bring your family, right? Because now they see it at another level.
Everybody's welcome.
Right?
Everybody's welcome.
They see it at another level.
Lives. Yeah.
Again, that's Saturday, September 14th, 8 p.m., and Sunday, September 15th at 5 p.m. And it's at the Segerstrom Center of the Arts. For those of you that don't know where that is, I'll give you the address. It's 615 Town Center Drive, Costa Mesa, California, 92626, and that's in front of South Coast Plaza. You can't miss it. And then also you can go to the website, which there it is, www.Pacific Chorale, is it my saying? Chorale.org.
And you got to spell that for some people.
Let's spell it for people. www.PACIFICCHORALE.
Got to put the E at the end on chorale.
Yes, put the E.
How long does your season run? Do you go year round, or is it just a season for a few months?
No, it goes year round. We haven't really taken that much of a break this summer. The symphony finale happened in mid-June.
So sometimes you're singing with the symphony because certain symphony pieces require a choir.
Yep.
Sometimes you're singing just choral pieces that go, and it might go back to the Middle Ages, or it might be something more modern. And then sometimes sounds like you're doing some pretty crazy offbeat, unusual stuff that might appeal to those who have never heard any of this before.
Exactly. We run year round.
Open the door. Yeah.
I just want everybody that's viewing and hearing, Paul Roberts, he's like at a candy store right now. You should see his eyes.
I don't know why I walked away from this years ago.
He could be on the show all day.
I think so. This is cool
he used
stuff.
to sing, right? And is it what, your school choir? Or was
the school choir.
School choir?
I was a choir kid.
And you could tell it's like he's meeting Michael Jordan.
It is kind of, yeah.
Like this is, yeah. So if Paul Robert runs on stage that day,
That might be.
we might need security.
I could do that.
You got to come and sing, Paul. At least do the summer festival.
I'd like to find out. When's that time when everybody can come up just experience it?
It's in August. It was last weekend. It's usually the second weekend of August.
You just missed it, Paul.
All right, next year.
Next year, for sure.
Keep me on the list.
Hey, you can start working on the chorus.
Because I'd have to really get my voice back in shape. You got to da 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 da. You got to get right.
So can you give us a little bit some before we go?
I don't sing.
He just directs.
Well, just because I saw Paul doing the da-da-da-da, I'm like, wait a minute, should I be asking? Robert's like, no, I do this.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, real quick before you go, what is, for those of us that don't know, when you're up there, the hands, right?
It's language. It's
Okay.
sign language.
Okay.
It's
and
very specialized.
and that's telling these people to do this, and
It sets the tempo.
Really?
It shows how loud and how soft, how much pressure you want, the bow on the string.
nice.
It shows them exactly the tone color that you want. It's gets
Louder,
them to
softer,
listen.
yeah,
Yep.
right.
I mean, it's very specialized. And I always just tell people, think about sign language.
Oh, okay.
You know, it's as varied as the Spanish or the English language, and
Yes.
and studying it, it's like a lifetime of learning how to speak in that language better and better in front of professional musicians.
And imagine if you're trying to
Wow.
get 100 voices or 50 voices, or I don't know how many people are in your choir typically, but
He said
probably
240, right?
on
Well,
stage.
not all
though,
at the same time.
Oh, okay.
Although this weekend it was 207.
so let's say you have 50 people.
270.
You might have 50
But
people
who's
or 20
counting?
people or something. How to get them all to sing precisely at the same moment, at the same tone, at the same level,
Hey.
so they sound like one.
That's why he's Michael Jordan of music. Huh?
I know.
Not easy.
Well, and there's and your hands actually can have a huge impact on the way people speak and talk,
Interesting.
right?
Wow.
So do you have time to do a short exercise?
Yeah,
Sure,
please,
let's
go,
do
let's
it.
go.
Okay, what do
so-
we
We'll give them an
okay.
extra minute. This is our
All right,
special
all right.
add-on.
So take a finger and go like this.
Okay.
And say the word UP, up.
Okay. UP.
No, just say up.
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 Good.
Up.
And now point this way and say down.
Down.
One more time.
Down.
And
Up.
then
Down.
now I want you to point this way and say down.
Down.
And then this way and say up.
Up.
So if you point this way,
If you point up and say down,
yep, what do you get?
it gets softer.
Yes.
And if you point down and say up,
It gets louder.
it's crazy. And there's
So even though you're
much you can
pointing
do.
down,
yeah.
Yes.
but your finger,
This is more powerful than the word that you say.
Wow. You know what's interesting? The other day, I know we're running out of time here, but they did a mass for my uncle who passed away about 10 years ago. And it was at a family home it was in Riverside, super hot. And he's speaking so low. But it was interesting how all the room, like,
brought the room down.
yeah, and everybody was paying attention.
They react.
For like literally like 2 hours. Nobody would move, right? And we're like, it was just, like you said, sometimes low can just, it brings everybody, right? And that's really what happens when you go to these events. You see that. And it's very powerful. I think it's very powerful, like you said.
It reminds me of a famous story, and I wish I could remember the athlete that told it, but this is in baseball, sort of the same thing. And the umpire, this is in the World Series, and the guy's sliding into home plate. And this is going to win the World Series, that game, right? And the umpire makes the symbol for out, but he says safe. He gestured the wrong thing.
Exactly.
So he yells safe, but he flips his thumb up and like he's out.
Yeah.
And everybody gets up and they look at him and they say, "What is he, safe or out?" And the guy says, "Well, you know he's safe. I know he's safe, but a million people just saw me call him out. He's out." So that hand gesture is what people refer to more than they
But
listen.
I'm going to try that, the up and the down
Yeah.
with my boys and see how that
point
works.
point
right?
down, but say up.
Yeah.
Say up.
And point
Well,
up,
first you
but
got to
say
say,
down.
first you got to point up and say up, right?
Yeah.
So
Up.
they hear themselves
And
saying
then say
it.
down,
And then say
right?
down, yeah.
And then reverse
then
it.
down.
Mix it up.
Down.
And up. And you can hear, like, even the
Yes.
inflection. When you point up and you say down, it goes up. And when you
Yes.
So
point
they're not
down and
listening,
say
they're
up,
watching.
It goes down.
It's automatic.
Well, I can tell you when you sing in a choir, your eyes are glued to the director because you want to
They
be.
better be.
That's the truth.
Hey,
Slap
Robert,
upside
don't mess
the head.
around. Robert's like, hey, pay attention. I'm the one running the show here. Robert, thank you so much. Robert Istad, I want to
yeah.
say it right.
That's perfect, yeah.
Again, Artistic Director and Conductor at Pacific Chorale. Thank you so much. Everybody, please go out and support this event, this good cause. You know, again, Saturday, September 14th at 8 p.m., Sunday, September 15th at 5 p.m.
Or check out the rest of the season.
Or check out the rest of the season. That's right. But more importantly, continue to have your kids and your families in music. This is awesome, and we're so honored to have you on our show today. And we wish you all the best. And we're gonna come on and see you guys that day.
Okay, that would be awesome.
Yes.
Awesome.
We'll
We'll
see
make
you
it
there.
happen.
All right.
Great. Thanks, John. Thanks, Paul, very much.
Thank you all for tuning in again to our community podcast show powered by the Orange County Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, where our community is your community. Take it away, Mr. Paul Roberts.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm warming up my voice already. I don't know about you. One more reason to tune in each and every time to hear our community, to meet our community, right here on Orange County's only community radio station, OC Talk Radio, streaming live from our studio here at the University of California, Irvine's Beale Applied Innovation Center.